Welcome to the BFS live Q&A featuring AV Now. My name is Julian Barnes, and I am one of the co-founders and the CEO of Boutique Fitness Solutions. For those of you who may be new to BFS, allow me to provide a brief introduction. Our mission is to educate, connect, and support boutique fitness business owners to enable them to build and manage thriving businesses. And we do that in three primary ways: by conducting live events like today's, by producing educational trainings that are interactive, immersive, and intimate. We have a private network called our BFS Mastermind program that connects ambitious studio owners, and we produce videos and publish written content that includes exclusive access to full videos, quick tips, and coffee coaching breaks from thought leaders, subject matter experts, and industry partners. All of this content is designed to help studio owners run their businesses more profitably, more effectively, and more efficiently. So with no further ado, let's get started and let's welcome Ken Lyons. Hey guys, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing well. So we were talking earlier, and I was asking you guys what the most popular audio-visual equipment products are in the last 90 days. What have you been selling a lot of?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's been a lot of like it has been for roughly a year at this point. Is a lot of folks getting set up with either portable speakers, wireless microphones, or interfaces to be able to stream high quality voice and music at the same time over different streaming platforms. Lately, there's been a little bit more of a push to sort of go back to that hybrid model. So finding ways to not only pick up the voice and music really cleanly for their stream, but also put that same sound out to a PA system or a portable speaker. So there's that category has been, pretty steady for the last year. And then a lot of folks going for the headphone model, popularly known as silent disco, where all the participants are wearing their own headphones, which enables people to do large classes outdoors and not bother the neighbors. So that's something we've been doing a lot of as well.
Do you want to take the opportunity to showcase some of the portable sound equipment that you guys have been selling a lot of?
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing to take a look at again is a category of product, which would be a USB mixer, which is, as we've been saying the whole time, kind of the key for folks, so that you can get a mixer that can blend voice over music. So you can plug in a headset microphone system and a music player. Usually people are playing music off of their phones. Blend that together and then send that blended signal directly to their streaming software. So Luke, I don't know if you want to pull up just a quick image of one of those USB mixers so people can see kind of what it looks like. But what we've been seeing is people are, having struggles trying to get good quality audio through their streaming service when they're teaching remote classes. A lot of people are trying to share music playing off of their computer through something like Zoom at the same time as trying to have that same computer pick up their voice. And we did a lot of product testing. We plugged in a lot of things to a lot of different computers, tablets, phones, and everything just kept coming back to a USB mixer because that basically bypasses a lot of what the streaming softwares try to do as far as making your audio sound good for a conference. Or just constantly having to sort of battle those features because things like Zoom are just, frankly, not designed for what we're all doing. So, yeah, I think that's that's still the way to go. So you can see a little diagram here. We've got the mixer where we've got a wireless mic headset system plugged into it. We've got a phone plugged into it that's playing back music, and I think that's key. A lot of folks, obviously to keep it simple, want to just open Spotify on their computer, share the sound of the computer through something like Zoom. But there are a lot of audio problems, sync problems, dropout problems when we try to do that. So this method of incorporating a little external hardware, which is none of it super complicated, and we have a lot of support ready to go. We've got thousands of instructors doing this exact thing. So we've got videos, we've got diagrams, and we've got tech support folks standing by to, you can make an appointment with us, block out some time, and we can go through it piece by piece.
So let me make sure I understand this. You're right. A lot of people are using Zoom, and a lot of people have their speakers and their smartphones and their headphones. And if I understand you correctly, when they're not receiving the optimal audio quality they want with simply headphone, smartphone, and speaker, it's because they're not using the mixer. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of times it's trying to rely on the streaming software like Zoom to be able to get a music signal into the stream and then get a voice signal into the stream, and to make that sound normal like it would if you were taking a live class. And most laptops, phones, and the software itself are not really set up for that. So we take the heavy lifting of just blending that voice and music and getting a good mixture out of the computer typically, and that really allows a really clean signal going in without the computer that's actually trying to, be a camera, be a web interface, run the software. It takes the heavy lifting out of that, and it makes it so the audio stream is as clean as it's going to be going in, and perfectly in time. So that's another thing, is people are using rhythmic music and teaching to the beat and giving cueing that's based on the music. And in this scenario that we're demonstrating here, it keeps things in time, in rhythm, without a lag between the music and the voice, which is, as you all know, very distracting.
So what's the most popular mixer that your clients have been buying?
The most popular one is whichever one we can keep on the shelves. Basically, we've gone to a lot of different manufacturers and sourced ones that have a very particular feature set. So we only offer essentially one model at a time. And it's basically what we can keep in stock, because they're just flying off the shelves and manufacturers are having a hard time keeping up. So we just bundle it as a kit. And the reason we do that is because it comes with all of the adapter cables that you would need. So we've kind of figured out what's a good package of cables and adapters that we can ship out and know that whatever you've got, you can plug it in. Of course, we have, a lot of custom solutions and we can come up with a custom package, but essentially we just offer one kit that we know works really well for live streaming, voice over music, regardless of what kind of computer you have or whether you're hooking it into a tablet, and regardless of what streaming software you're going to use.
Can you show us that?
Yeah, that's what's on the screen right here.
So I see a mixer, I see 4 different cables.
Mm-hmm.
So can you walk us through these?
Yeah, well, if Luke, if you go back to the image where you're seeing the sort of diagram, the particular cables that we have in the kit aren't really as important as what you're plugging into the mixer. So we do have packages that include the mic system and the speakers and the mixer. But we also know that a lot of people already own a mic system. So we have a kit that takes the mic system out, but just gives you the cable you're going to need to plug in your mic system. And then we also know that a lot of people already have a sound system. So we have kits that remove that component. So what we typically do is just, you tell us what you already have, and we'll tell you which kit makes sense to integrate with what you already have, so you don't have to buy anything extra.
Great. All right. So we have quite a few questions. Let's start here. Um, what's the best camera to use to provide clean, crisp video and audio for Zoom classes? The best cameras to use to provide clean, crisp video audio for Zoom classes.
That's a gigantic question. There are a ton of factors. I will say that, hey, Luke, I think we can pop off of that image just for the time being. The camera question is huge. Most of the time, the answer is whatever you've got is probably going to work, but you can always upgrade. So a lot of people don't realize that just the camera on the back side of their phone is fantastic in a lot of cases. The camera on the back side of most iPads is really good. So there are a number of ways you can use an iPad or a phone as your camera, even if you're running Zoom on a computer or you're going through Uscreen or what have you. And then, you know, if you want a dedicated camera, part of the conversation is, you know, is it going to be something that you're going to set up and tear down every time, or something you're going to install as a fixed situation? So unfortunately, there's not an answer as to what's the best camera. But if you're using the camera, say on the front face of your laptop, it's probably not going to be as good as if you got a dedicated camera. So the big question is, you know, what's the application? If we're installing it, we've got a number of cameras that are, you know, very small, really easy to sort of position in the room. If it's something where you're setting it up on a tripod, we've sort of got a different selection of cameras for that. And a lot of people don't realize, you know, the picture quality that the camera can pick up is often not the same quality that gets spit out the other side of your streaming software. So it's good to sort of find out what your streaming software can do, because a lot of them, even if you have a 4K super ultra HD camera, your streaming software can only do 720p resolution. So the camera itself sort of needs to be chosen based on how you're going to use it, what you're going to plug it into. And those are the kind of things that a lot of times are a quick email conversation or a quick phone consultation for us to help you pick.
Got it. All right. Another question. I use Spotify, a MacBook Air, a new Samsung wireless mic, a new PreSonus audio box, wireless Bluetooth speaker, and a splitter cable to funnel my music from my phone and the sound from my mic through the audio box and into my laptop for my Zoom classes. However, my music sometimes completely shuts off at completely random intervals, interrupting my class. Mm-hmm. And this didn't start happening until I moved from teaching at a studio to teaching at home. Do you think the issue could be my Wi-Fi or Spotify? The thing is, my Zoom meetings are never interrupted at home. It's only the music that just stops playing.
Yeah, and so that sort of comes back to, so it sounds like in that scenario, they're playing Spotify on the same device that they're running Zoom on. And that's one of the many audio issues that gets solved by playing your music back on a different device and mixing it before it goes into the mixer, so that the stream has the voice and the music together going into the computer, rather than the computer or iPad trying to run Spotify and Zoom at the same time, pass that information along, and then mix it with the voice coming in through that PreSonus box.
In more simpler terms, it sounds like you're saying there's too much data going through one cable.
It's not so much that there's too much data going through one cable. It's just that the music player being on the same device as the streaming software, um, again, in our experience, causes those kind of issues. So if we just take the music playback and put it on a separate device, like a phone, a tablet, an iPod, then the computer that's just running Zoom doesn't have to be doing double duty. And the mixture and the blend of voice or music, again, happens outside of the device running Zoom in that case. That PreSonus box is just taking your mic signal, and then your computer is having to mix together the voice signal and the Spotify stream, pass that between two pieces of software. It just doesn't work as cleanly as the example we gave before.
So the answer
Yeah.
is back to the mixer bundle.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I have something to add for you too, Ken. The important part there to take home is that we're using software that's built and designed for a meeting just like this, right? People talking to each other. So without external hardware where you're literally mixing two things together and send them into one thing going into your computer, you're going to have issues with dropouts, poor sound quality, and issues trying to manage this. Because what you're trying to do when you're using equipment like that is literally mix within your computer, and the software isn't really there to support that type of feature. So having the external hardware to mix those two things externally from your computer and then send one signal to your computer is the best way to do it.
Right.
Got it. All right. Next question. As a cycling instructor, music is so important to the experience, and it does not translate well via Zoom with the equipment I have. I'm using an iPad Pro, and the Zoom app does not allow me to share my music like it would on a desktop. I really don't want to invest in a desktop right now, so what can I do to ensure the music comes through clearly and delivers the energy along with my voice?
Same answer is USB mixer. Rather than trying to have your iPad, in this case, play the music and run Zoom, you can get a USB mixer with the right adapter, hook that into your iPad. So you're going to play music off of your phone. In this example, plug your microphone system into the mixer, plug your phone into the mixer. That stream is then going to go into the iPad. And again, taking that burden out of the device that's running the stream, that's key. It's simple and it's effective. It works a lot better.
All right, well, let's stay on the topic of the mixers. It sounds like that's the solution for many of these questions. So once you have the mixer, the microphone, and the phone set up, what's the best way to translate that sound to the client?
Well, the cool thing is that the mixer, again, is going to take the voice and the music, and it's going to transfer it over a USB cable right into the device that you're using to stream. And one of the reasons we've picked the USB mixers that we have chosen is that they give you the option to be able to send a different volume level to speakers in the room with you, as opposed to what goes out to the feed. So the real key is to not use the share sound button on Zoom or whatever your software is. The share sound button is just, it's the culprit for a lot of people's audio issues. So you don't want to do that. You know, and if we're talking Zoom specifically, there's a feature called Original Sound, which basically turns off all of the filters and things that Zoom does to make it so that there's echo cancellation, and it turns down background noise. We've got to turn that off because it thinks your music is background noise. So I think that is part of, I think that's the answer, is basically if you're using a software like Zoom that has a, you know, share the sound that's on this computer feature, you don't want to do that. That's what we want to bypass that. And we want to turn off all of that background noise suppression, because honestly, it can't tell the difference between your air conditioner hum or traffic going by and music. So it just turns all that stuff down. So that's one of the things we've got to bypass.
Got it. So what does the mixer plug into?
So the mixer, well, I mean, so if we're talking about in terms of the flow of the sound, your mic system and your phone plug into the mixer. It gets blended together in the mixer. And then the mixer can do two things. One, it will plug in directly to your computer or your tablet, whatever you're using to run your streaming software. So that's one thing it does. And then if you've got some speakers in the room or you're running a hybrid class and you've got a sound system, a portable speaker, it also can send the signal to that. And then, like I said, you've got the cool feature then of being able to adjust the volume of the speaker in the room to get that just right without affecting what audio goes to the stream. So you've got sort of two different knobs. You can make sure the levels are just right for your participants that are remote and just right for your participants in the room.
Got it. So you mentioned not using the sound on button on Zoom. Is that the only audio setting in Zoom to look out for? Are there other audio settings that people are mistakenly using?
Unfortunately, the answer is there are several, and they keep changing them. They keep changing what they're called and where they're located in the menu. So what I recommend is the blog on our website. We keep it updated with here are the settings that fitness professionals need to know about in Zoom. And I could tell you what they are right now, and then the next update, they could completely move them. We've even had where they actually made one of the options that you used to have to check. They made it now it's the exact opposite option, so you have to uncheck it. So the most up-to-date way to get that info is our blog, because we do keep that updated.
All right, and we'll post that below the video recording. Let's see here. Is there a way to avoid needing a sound check to check the music and the voice blend, or is that not necessary? Is there a way to avoid needing a sound check to check the music and voice blend?
There's never a complete substitute for a good sound check. But if you're using a streaming software that has a recording feature, and you just want to avoid needing a remote participant, you can always do a very short recording and then play it back. Some softwares like Zoom have that built into the menu where there's a little self sound check, so you can check your level for a couple seconds and then wait a second, and then it'll play it back and you can listen to it. So it really depends on the software that you choose. Obviously, if at all possible, you can have somebody jump on the other end of your stream and give you real-time human feedback. There's no substitute for that, but there are a couple of features depending on your software.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. We have our first question, not about sound. How about that? What are the best lights to use while streaming?
I'll throw that to Luke because he's the lighting guy.
Yeah, lighting depends on your camera and also your room and really what you're trying to capture, right? Because an on-screen image, what you see of me right now and this logo behind me, right? It's a replica of me, right? It's a recreation. And lighting has almost the same effect on your on-screen image as your camera lens does, right? What type of camera lens? Maybe you want to use a wide angle lens, right? Because you want to have a big space, right? That you want to pick up and have people in the front row being picked up, right? So lighting is really important. And wash lighting is really important. Just as using the right tool for audio or cameras or anything else to do with streaming, you want to use the right tool for lighting. The technology works in unison with the camera. When a camera is capturing video, it's closing and taking pictures really quick, right? That's how videos are created. Lighting is doing the same thing, only it's shooting out light, but it's flickering as well too. So you need to make sure that you assess your room for the proper type of lighting. Do you have cool, warm white, cool white or warm white lighting in there, right? Or do you look yellow on screen? Do you look blue, right? Do you need to add more warmth? So you got to pick the color temperature depending on your environment. Let's see if I can trick it right now. I would have the window open. But there's also to consider with lighting is called point lighting. If you see the right side of my face, or sorry, on screen right, is a little bit darker than the left side of my face. And that's because there's a window over here, right, that you can't see. That's right here hitting my face. It's creating a shadow on this side of my face as well too, right? So you need to have a secondary unit or lighting fixture or point in your lighting system to fill in those shadows. So any type of lighting that you can have multiple angles shooting at your instructor, you on stage, will increase your on-screen image. You can also add lighting behind you as well too, and that provides depth and makes you on screen look more 3D and realistic, right? It gives a little bit more spatial distance in the background, right, in the foreground. So there's a lot of different ways that you can approach lighting, but bright LED wash lighting is really the great way to approach it. There's quite a few fixtures that we offer, but since it's such a complicated and unique application, scheduling a consultation and assessing your room and getting an idea of where we're putting these lights and what camera you're using is a great way to approach it, because then we're able to figure out exactly what is the right tool for the job, right? And you want to avoid flickering and all that, so picking the right tool for the job is important there. And sorry for the long explanation, but yeah, lighting to be in general, bright wash lighting to really brighten you up on stage, coming in from multiple angles.
More than one light if you can.
All right, we have two more questions. I have a MultiMix 8 and a Brio webcam. I would like to be able to connect them simultaneously to Zoom for live stream class and save a recording of the class with better quality than the Zoom recording. Is that possible? If so, how? So she has a MultiMix 8 in Brio, B-R-I-O, webcam. She wants to connect them simultaneously to Zoom for live stream class and save a recording of the class with a higher quality recording than the Zoom recording. Is that possible?
Well, I'm not familiar with that particular model of webcam, but I can tell you that you can easily connect both of those things to Zoom at the same time or to your computer, because one is a USB mixer. That's one of the ones that we've offered, the MultiMix 8, and then one's a webcam. So they're separated, so they don't interact with each other. So you can set Zoom to use that webcam as your camera and that mixer as your audio interface. Now, the question as to whether you can record in higher quality than what Zoom offers you, I think the answer is yes, but you may need to run a different webcam recording software or video capture software than what Zoom is. Now, there are some settings in Zoom that you could probably adjust. And I think the big question is it the picture quality that you're having issues with or the audio quality that you're having issues with? If it's the audio quality, I would definitely recommend going through that Zoom setting guide that we have on our blog to make sure that you've got it set up as good as you can. Make sure that Zoom is set to the highest quality you can. Do a recording that way, and and then assess. Just let us know: is it the picture, or is it the audio, or is it both that you're not satisfied with? And then we can help you figure out potentially a different way to record it. Unfortunately, again, if you're using a webcam, webcams do have limitations on the resolution that they can spit out to your computer. And so you may need to be running two pieces of software at the same time to record in a higher quality stream, or perhaps look into a different lighting solution. Again, if it's a picture quality issue, could have to do with lighting, could have to do with the resolution. And it may be a good idea to explore a different piece of software than Zoom, because as we've all been talking, Zoom is really not a professional audio video interface. It's a conferencing app. So, you know, a lot of folks are using something like OBS and then taking that and pushing out to something like Uscreen, which, again, the folks who make the software will be able to help you get the optimal quality once the signal's in your computer. So yeah, I think
that's a perfect segue, because we have a question about OBS. Do you suggest using a mixer with OBS Studios?
I suggest using a USB mixer regardless of the software that you choose. Okay. If you're doing voiceover music, I should say. If your application is, a traditional voice over music instructor-led fitness application, then yes, I absolutely recommend an external mixer regardless of software.
Got it. Another question. I've been teaching via Zoom with Behringer USB plus Samson airline mic. Now I would like to teach hybrid in the studio. What additional equipment do I need for this so studio sound is stereo? So the instructor is teaching via Zoom with Behringer USB plus Samson airline mic. She's currently teaching hybrid in the studio, and she wants to know what additional equipment she needs so the studio sound is stereo.
Okay, well, depending on the model, I mean, Behringer obviously makes a lot of models of mixer, but a super popular one is the Q802 USB. If you need your in-studio sound to be stereo, which I will say we don't always recommend or do, mono feed into a studio is extremely, extremely common and can sound fantastic. But if you did want it to be stereo, then you would need to take a feed out of the main outputs of the mixer. There's two jacks, typically a left and a right, and then send that to a sound system that has a stereo amplifier or two speakers. So I don't know what else is in the picture as far as speakers, amplifiers, and things like that in the sound system. But if you're using a Behringer USB mixer or any USB mixer, typically you can just take a feed with some cables straight out of the mixer into your sound system. And so it just depends on what kind of speakers you have. So what we usually recommend, people just email us a picture. What do you got? We'll tell you how to plug it in.
All right, we have another lighting question. I have LED recessed lighting in my studio, and the camera picks up these lights and looks like lightning strikes. How can I mitigate that? She has LED.
Adding additional lighting or removing that lighting altogether. That lighting is flickering at a different pace or consecutive. There's about a 10-second interval where it'll refresh and do it. And what it's doing is it's actually capturing the image when your light's flickering off. And so that's what's happening is that, sorry, I got to go this way. Your camera is picking it up, your lighting's flickering, your camera is picking it up, and there's no light, right? And it's just because of the technology of those bulbs and what they're doing. A lot of times you can replace bulbs or change your overhead lighting or add a simple 2 to 3 point lighting system to really brighten up your instructor. Because in that case, you actually already have overhead lighting, which will provide depth to your on-screen image too.
Yeah,
so adding some lighting kind of at eye level would help.
Another thing is the resolution and the refresh rate of your camera. Not to get too far down in the weeds, but the webcam that you have may have some settings that you can try. Some have where it's 1080p HD at 60 hertz refresh rate or versus 30 hertz. So I mean, that's a huge rabbit hole that we can go down, but you can always try some different settings on your camera to see if that changes. But again, I think no matter what, the idea of adding some fill light that is a different type of lamp will probably be the quickest, simplest solution to that problem.
All right, so let's wrap it up with a catch-all question. Other than not using a mixer, which appears to be the recurring theme for many of these questions, other than that, what's the most common mistake you guys have found that instructors are making?
It's probably using using a software like Zoom without disabling the background music filtering, because that really just kills a lot of people's you know, audio, music specifically. It'll make their voice come through great. And the other thing is you know, potentially just not using a microphone that can pick them up cleanly. Obviously, if you're just talking like I am, a little lapel microphone that I'm wearing now works great. But if you're really doing the work while you're instructing, a headset microphone that's close to your mouth, that picks up cleanly, is really crucial. And you know, not everybody has one, but the difference in intelligibility on the other end of your stream, using a headset mic versus being picked up from like your laptop or your phone's onboard mic, is night and day. So that's probably that was two. Sorry, but those two.
So let's follow that up a little bit. What's the easiest, um, most affordable tweak an instructor can use to level up, to enhance the quality of their fitness class? Easiest and or most affordable hack that the average
Yeah.
instructor.
Well, you know, those mixer kits that we've been talking about kind of all day start out at about 179. So I would say that's fairly affordable in the grand scheme of things. If we're talking about just a quick hack you can do, you know, it's a little tricky because I want to say it's bypassing the software settings that make music sound bad. But you really can't do that until you've got something like a USB mixer, because again, when you're trying to share audio off of your computer and be picked up, it's not going to sound super great. So, but yeah, if you want to find out more about that stuff, you can always shoot us an email or get in touch with us at avnow.com on our live chat, and we can basically, you tell us what you've already got, you tell us what you don't like about it, and we'll tell you a couple of quick suggestions on how to take care of it.
All right, and what's your email again for people who have questions?
Sales at avnow.com is a great way to get in touch with us. And yeah, all of our contact info and contact forms are on our website at avnow.com. You can live chat there, or you can fill out a form. Just tell us more about what you have issues with, and we'll get right back to you.
And lastly, is your customer support only for current AV Now customers?
No, we're happy to answer questions, no matter if you're a current AV Now customer or not. Obviously, detailed support really is not something we can offer on, you know, software or products that you didn't buy from us, but we can absolutely give you some suggestions. But we can't obviously provide detailed technical support on something like OBS because we didn't write the software, but we're happy to talk with whoever.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and expertise with our community. To everyone listening, you will be able to watch this recording again in your BFS account. So look forward later this week, early next week. If you have additional questions, feel free to contact AVNow directly at sales@avnow.com. And if you have additional questions for BFS, please reach out to us at support@boutiquefitnesssolutions.com with any questions or requests. Thank you so much for your time today. My name is Julian Barnes. Be safe and be well.